Hey guys, welcome back to Steve Basinger Fishing. I know it's been a little while since you got to see me do any fishing, and hopefully it's not much longer before you get to. It's cold, it's windy, and man, life is hectic. I wish someone would have told me when I was a kid that adulting would suck, but man, does it suck. Don't ever grow up, kids. It's terrible. When I have some time, I'm going to get to fishing, I promise you. But what I do want to do is show you guys I got myself a new, to me, boat. I sold my old boat, the one I've done all my other videos out of. Sold it back in July or August to a friend of mine. And I did that because I was preparing to buy this other boat that I bought in November. And since then, I have now moved back to Oklahoma. And this will be my forever home. So you guys will see a whole lot of fishing from Oklahoma. But with that, let's get into it. This boat, if you guys watch enough YouTube, you guys have probably seen this before. This boat did belong to Mikey Balls. It's not really his last name, but that's what his channel is. This was his boat, aptly named Spaceballz, so we're going to keep that name. I like that name. It's a 2023 Nitro Z20. And you know what? I'm going to be honest with you. I was a guy that always bagged on Nitros for a long time, but for the last 5 years or so, I noticed when I'd go play around in them at Bass Pro, their quality has really kind of went up. It's a lot better boat, and now I've kind of crawled around in his boat a couple years ago and really liked it, and so I bought it. I like this boat. So let's get into what's in it. We'll do a little walkthrough on it. We'll start up front. It's got a Lowrance Ghost on it. It's the first one of those I've ever messed with. So far, so good. So far, I like it. But I think I really like it because it links with the graphs that I have on here, which are those. Those are Lowrance HDS 12 Pros. And it links with all the graphs. So I haven't used this a ton, but I have played around with it to where it has like an autopilot feature. I can operate the trolling motor from the graphs. Like I can tell it where to go via the graphs, which is kind of cool. As a bass fisherman, I probably won't use that much, but I do dabble in crappie fishing, and I can see that coming into play in crappie. If you're a walleye guy, really, you know, you would probably know how to use that better than I do, because I know like Humminbird has done stuff like that for quite a long time. So anyways, it's also got forward-facing sonar. Two of them, actually. This is the one, like, they're both the same transducer. This one's just set up for forward in your typical video game fishing, if you will. And then this other one, which apparently I need to tighten that. I don't know why that's moving around like that. This other one is same transducer, but sideways. It's looking more, you know, in, I think Lowrance calls that scout mode, to where it's more of like a big wide angle and looking around and finding structure out in front of you. Whole lot for me to learn into both of those. I'm not going to go into great detail on that, but I've played with them. They're both really, really cool. I've also got the same graphs at the console, which these I just mostly use for, mostly just using those for mapping, side scan, down scan, 2D sonar, you know, same kind of deal that I did in my last boat. I would take the covers off, but they're just graphs. They look like graphs. It's also got, which I don't have the power on, but this touchscreen here is how you'd operate the lights, the live wells. Like you literally just hit first fish and your live wells start filling up. If you want to fill up the live well, you hit second fish, they start filling up. It's really freaking cool. Just really, really, really cool. At the back of the boat, we've got the Merc 250 4-stroke, which I have never had a 4-stroke before. I've had the boat out 4 or 5 times since I got this, and I filled it up the first time I took it out, and I haven't had to put gas in it since then. Like I haven't even used like a quarter of a tank. I don't run around like it's a race everywhere I go, but it does really good on gas. It's got dual 10-foot power pole blades, which I've got the covers on right now. Highly recommend you getting some of those covers. Keeps them from getting all like yucky for bugs and whatnot. And then it also has the light on top of the power pole. really, really cool. It's got a, I believe that's a 10-inch, I don't know how well you can see it, 10-inch Bob's hydraulic jack plate. I've never had a jack plate before. It's been really nice to be able to adjust that and try to get some real-time performance out of it based on how much crap or how many people or live wells full, to get just great performance out of the boat. And then I had never seen one of these before. Comment down below if you've seen one of these, but this is called the leash. And when I got it for Mike, like, I was like, hey man, why is there a tether around this motor? Are you afraid it's going to fall off? And what was explained to me, and now I think is a really good idea, this is if you're running down the lake and you hit a stump or a rock or something really hard with your lower unit. This prevents the motor from coming in the boat with you and having you for lunch in a very mild, as mildly as I could put it. This keeps the motor from kicking out of the water on you. I've never had that kind of problem, but it's very nice to know I'm never going to have that kind of problem now. A little bit of peace of mind, and just a really cool accessory, very well thought out. All right, so now we're here in the back of the boat, and I wanted to talk about the batteries that are in this. There are 5 precision sonar lithium batteries in here. I don't know how well you're going to be able to see it, but hopefully you can. Yeah, you can see those pretty well. There are 3 on this side that go to the trolling motor. Then there are 2 over here, that is a lot harder to see, that run my graphs. And then the starting battery is just an AGM battery, an interstate AGM. And then there's a power pole charge that runs maintenance on everything except the graph batteries. I have a different charger for that. Power pole charge is really cool because it will share amps, volts, whatever, shares power throughout its entire system. So if one battery is starting to get too low, it'll start to push juice to that to keep that really, keep them all level, which is very important when it comes to lithium batteries. Moving back to the live wells, it's pretty typical live wells that you get. They're very deep, but they do have these little, I don't know, baffles, I guess you could call them, that helps the water keep from sloshing around. So it's going to keep your fish a little less stressed out while you're running down the lake. And I do like that Nitro put a little coal tag holder. My last boat I had to install one. I like that they already have one there. That's pretty cool. I also put your measuring board right back here. Very good spot for that. Other boats, they put them up on the front deck, which is fine, but I'd like to measure my fish at my live well, not up on the front deck, where if you're a big dummy like me, they flop and they fly back in the water. That would never happen. That would never happen to anybody. Never, never. You've also got big dry storage on that side, big dry storage on this side. I keep tackle over there and life jackets, tools, whatnot over there. A great glove box, center glove box. Love that I have that. I can keep keys and gloves and all sorts of stuff there. And then I like that it also pulls out and you can get to your gas tank. And if anybody has ever had their sending loop unit go out in their gas tank and then their gas gauge no longer works, you understand how sweet having that is. Because the last boat, that did not work. And me trying to get to that sending unit was a nightmare. You had to pull all the seats out, and that's why I sold it without it working, because I didn't want to do that. Okay, front deck. This little step up is a great big cooler, like little sandwich holder, and then a trash can in it. I don't know about you guys, but all my other boats, the cooler has been the trash can. Now I have a trash can. That's great. Great big tackle storage area. Instead of 2 compartments like my last boat was, it's one great big compartment. I will say there is a thing I don't like about this, where if you can see it, all of my tackle boxes, there's not like specific slots for them to go in. They're just kind of laying in here, And they're like that all the way to the front. This kind of tackle storage, I think is probably, you're probably better off not going with 3700 style boxes. You may be better with like Tupperware containers and, you know, these little tackle bags and stuff like that. That may be the better way to go for this. Right now, I'm just going to kick it like this for a while and see how I like this. But if you can see, you've even got little tool holders, like I can stick pliers, or that's a hook sharpener. I don't know why you'd want to put a cup holder in here, but there's 2 cup holders, so I'm able to stick like my spike it die or other tools. There's that flutter spoon I've been looking for. Totally was trying to remember where the heck I put that thing. It's right there. I'm going to forget it's there again. Now, as we get over here on rod box, which is really kind of the pride and joy of this thing, she looks like this. Now, I don't know how many rods I have in here. It's a bunch. It's a lot of rods. And a little pro tip for you, a lot of them, this boat too, it came with the rod tubes for you to be able to stick your rods up there. Man, take those out. Take the rod tubes out. They're cool to have. It's a neat idea, but in practicality, it's just a good way to bust the tips off into your rods. Even if you're using rod slocks like these, they get stuck in there all the time. You break a rod tip, and you also just can't fit as many rods if you have the rod tubes. Take the rod tubes out, man. You don't need them. I suppose I should mention this, because everyone fishes with co-anglers. This is actually my cousin's stuff in here right now, but I thought it was really nice feature for co-anglers, fishing partners, whatever, of how much room you have here for your rods. Like, not so much, yes, tackle box is always in the way. That's just kind of the nature of it. But how the rods kind of, the rod butts go into here. And honestly, just with that, them things ain't going anywhere. They're stuck there. But there is also, coming along the side, that little strap right there that will also hold them down. Again, you don't need that thing, but it's nice to have. Also, kind of talking on the cockpit, floors are carpeted, but the cockpit deck, that's like sea deck, you know, that foam stuff. And I really like that, because it seems like that's the part of the boat that always gets like the yuckiest, the dirtiest. Well, you can just kind of hose this out and it all goes away and you don't have to worry about that crap anymore. So that's pretty nice. So anyways, guys, that's a new boat. Hope you guys like it. I've certainly had a lot of fun in this thing, and I cannot wait for it to warm up to get a whole lot more fishing in and do a whole lot more playing and to really play with that forward-facing sonar, because what little bit I've got to do with that, that's a lot of fun. So anyways, guys, let me know what you think of the boat. Until next time, see you guys on the water.